Mulla was about to embark on one of his many pilgrimages when he learned that there was a certain territory that he had to traverse that was known for its robbers and its bandits. So he carried with him a shield and a sword. And sure enough, he'd only just entered that territory when he was accosted by a robber who took absolutely everything. Now when the Mulla was standing there naked and possessionless, he thought to himself, if only I had not had my hands full, it would have been a different story. And then perhaps you'll remember that story of Mulla when he was appointed as a judge in his town, and a complainant came into court and said, I was entering your town when I was accosted by a robber and they took everything. The Mulla said, case dismissed. The complainant said, what do you mean, case dismissed? The Mulla said, well, I see you're still wearing your undershirt, and I can tell you we do things properly in this town. It must have been somewhere else. And then there's a story about a desert in the area of Kandahar. Now it was said that this desert at one time had been a prosperous town, but that the people had turned to wayward ways and evil, you might say. So a beast was formed, and that beast, whoever it set its eyes on, would die. So this area became a vast desert. But then, when King Solomon came to power, he decided that something should be done about this beast. So he asked for someone who would take on this creature. But no one would come forth. No one dared to come into the place where that beast was, because they knew that when its evil eye was placed on them, they would be dead. But then Aristotle came along and he said to King Solomon, I will take on the beast. So Aristotle had a chariot made, and along with that chariot he asked to be formed a mirror about 6 feet by 6 feet, which was placed on the front of the chariot, which Aristotle himself guided. Now, as soon as the beast saw itself in the mirror, it had its demise. So, of course, as the story goes, that desert flourished once again, but King Solomon asked Aristotle, how did you do that? Why did you do that in this way? What was it that Aristotle said to the king about how he brought about the demise of the beast? with a mirror. How would you finish this story? When the beast, the epitome of evil, saw itself in the mirror, met its demise.
And something is recognised at no longer holds any power.
Yes. So if we put these three simple stories together and we look at the way many people and maybe ourselves have looked at life before and seeing it as a mirror. If we see anger in someone else, we think to ourselves, oh, maybe it seems like I've got this anger in me, I have to deal with this anger. Or what lesson has this got to teach me? But now, what does this story mean for us? Mirror and the beast.
Being held up as such, for being able to sleep.
So how has it changed for us? We no longer look out at life as being a mirror and seeing that if that's evil and that's bad and then I must have it in me. What's the difference when we flip the mirror around? Where we are now.
We don't look outward for what's not quite right, we look inward for what's not quite right. And then we see the reflections, I guess, of our past in that mirror.
What happens? It meets its demise. What's the difference? How does that work?
Well, so I was thinking that how often do I take the looks from others that could kill and decide that it's me, not them, and just allow it to be with them and not take it on.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can ask myself, how often do I have looks that could kill?
I had this conversation with Jasmine in the car on the way up here. Yeah, because she's going through some stuff at school where everyone's attacking her, and it's trying to work out how to. Once I said I said to her usually if something's coming at me, I look at myself and go, it must be in me if I'm projecting it and seeing it. But when in this situation it's kind of different because it's something about standing in her power and not letting it, taking it on and destroy you. But it was the same conversation.
And we don't have the fear of what we see.
No.
We have no fear of what we see.
No.
So what is the difference in this mirror now? Before it was a mirror that we were looking out in, and now
We don't take it on. We don't take it on what we see.
no.
But also if we, in that there's kind of not that much, there's nothing there
Yes, exactly.
to take on, you know, so it's kind of a little bit different.
So we're saying to turn the mirror back on then, the beast in then.
Absolutely. So I think these things out of a rose of a little saying that was sent to someone the other day, and that saying is that an enormous amount of freedom is reached when we don't take anything personally.
Yes.
So what does this mirror represent for us now? A recognition that isn't it?
Yeah.
The recognition, what has been happening on our spiritual journey, the purifying, the cleaning. All right. Okay. So life is no longer in reflection. Life is being
So it
reflected.
doesn't have power over you.